Hello.
Peace, peace, peace.
Peace, peace.
How's
Okay,
my
you're
time?
coming with an interesting topic. Talk to us.
Yes, ma'am. It's been a while. It's been a long time coming. I've been wanting to speak with you. But first and foremost, I want to thank you. Let me take a breath. There's a lot of energies coming through here. I don't know how you do this shit.
The energy be high.
Yeah. I want to thank you for the ovary cleanse pills recommendation. I want to thank you for the butterfly PT collagen recommendation. The books. I share them with my people. I mean, you've helped me tremendously, and when the community, the LGBTQ plus people attack you, it's one of those things where I can tell that we ain't healed. I can tell we ain't in a space of compassion, because our role here, we're actually here to be mediators between the genders. As far as like the polarity of masculine and feminine, or male and female, we have a divine role and a divine purpose. And a lot of us don't realize it, but when you see mainstream media or the agenda, they are using our energy to, I mean, they've always done this with us, with Blacks, Asiatic boys, so, you know, whatever you want, you know, they've always used us for this purpose, but we naturally move and flow between the genders so easily that in that flow of trying to get back centered, it's easy to get snatched up. Snatched up, you know what I'm saying? Because why? Because our mamas, our daddies kicked us out. The church done already told us we're an abomination. We're going to burn in eternal hellfire. So in between that switch, it's easy to get snatched up.
Yeah.
And like I said, there's so much I want to say, but what I will say is, once you get to a space of understanding yourself and you really, really, really know yourself, it ain't a whole ass thing nobody can say about you to make you feel inferior, or make you feel like with the whole misgendering and all that. I personally don't fuck with the language. Like, that's just, I am who I am. If I present masculine, if I present feminine, folks, they gonna deal with it. And you know what I'm saying? If I'm in a space where I want to actually, if I'm questioning, a person wants to know, like, all right, what is it, and I'm in a cordial space, then yes, I'll educate. And that's another thing with us, with this calling that we have, with this calling that we chose, we're constantly being called to teach and re-educate. And it takes a lot to navigate all these energies moving through us, our maternal bloodline, our paternal bloodline, moving through this singular form. It's a lot. And when you step outside the door of your home, your sanctuary, put that armor on of, you know what, I'm finna have to teach. And it sucks. It sucks to always have to be on, especially if you always have to be the adult your whole life. You know what I'm saying? You have to take time to step back and even mourn and grieve your childhood, because you've already been going through initiation for your adulthood. You didn't know. You didn't know, and there's no manual for it. So I just, give yourself grace and compassion, money. Anybody that's LGBT, whatever, if you jumped into this shit feeling like you non-binary, but you know what, you realize that, hey, something in the milk ain't clean, something ain't quite right, you can always revoke consent. You can always change your mind. One thing about my journey specifically, I won't get into all of that, but Praise God. That's what sexual trauma taught me. Sexual abuse molestation taught me is that my consent matters. Even if I can't use my words, an energetic no is still a no.
Yes.
And if you surround yourself with motherfuckers who can't read the room, you don't even need to be there. You don't even need to be there. Your gut don't never lie to you, man. Woman, whatever. Your gut ain't never lied to you. You can always trust that. Take a step back, turn all that shit off, turn all that off. Because at the end of the night, when you lay down, that's all the fuck that matters. How do you feel about you? All them words, all them terms, all them labels, all that. And you being used. I have to say that you're being used. You're being used for a more sinister agenda.
Who's being used?
Divine purpose, you're being used, you're being exploited for a way more sinister agenda. And it's about these babies.
Who's being used?
I will say not so much the LGB, but the TQ ... because they blur the lines so much to the point where they wear you down, where it's like, you know what, fuck it, I submit. And that's, submission comes from an external force. Surrender comes from within. Surrender is more of understanding. I get it. Submission is you get pounded and pounded. It's like, fuck it, have it. So you got the war between the older generation and the younger people, because you know when you younger, before that Saturn return, for anybody upset about that 27, you will understand once you're 30, I assure you. But once they get them young enough to groom them, teach them these terms, teach them that being male or being female, what you were assigned at birth, your biology. If you feel anywhere beyond that spectrum, I got a label for you. I got a family for you. But I'm telling you this. I'm telling you this. Anything that requires chemicals, anything man-made to distort who you chose to be, you chose this vessel. You chose this vessel. And if you feel like you're in the wrong vessel, you need to have a conversation with God. Because if you're not already perfect, if you don't already know that you perfect, you damn sure don't need to be fucking with man and big pharma. You really don't, because they're going to tell you. And they're going to fuck you beyond belief, beyond repair. Go and really look and research the side effects, the long-term side effects of these chemicals, the chemical castration, the chemical, all these things. Lord, if you're thinking about taking these shots and all of this stuff, these hormones, at least wait till you're 30. Get out, get past Saturn's initiation. Get past that. Because you don't know what God finna do in your life. You don't know what God got for you. All you have is in the right now. I don't feel comfortable in my body. These breasts, these ass, these hips. Think back. When you first started to develop, at what point was it weaponized? Did somebody take that from you? Did somebody make you feel like your curve made you fast, or this where you sexualized and you felt that energy and it overtook you to the point where you don't even want this shit no more? You gotta think. You got to think. You want to cut off your body part. The part that you chose. Just step back and just cut off all that shit. Your family is in here. It ain't your bloodline, but your blood make you relative, make you related. Your heart, your family is in here. You always talk about your soul tribe. It's in your soul. Present how you present, show up how you show up, and let a motherfucker deal. And if you're not in that space and you don't feel secure yet, like right now, I got a harness on. This keeps me in my body. It helps remind that you safe. I'm 36 years old, and every now and then, especially if I'm gonna get on live, I need to know, hey, Spirit, we got you. I need that. That's what works for me. How that looks for the next person, trial and error, life gonna teach you. But if nothing else, Big Pharma ain't your friend. Big Pharma ain't your friend. These community people, if they getting a check to teach you these terms, I wanna share a book. The Spirit of Intimacy by Saban Fusome, Ancient African Teachings and the Ways of Relationship. Chapter 13 saved my life. I came across this book probably 2014 maybe, and I just want to read 2 paragraphs. It's a small book, and if I can, and I feel like this will help. This will help. It'll help. Okay, if you got the time, if you got the space.
Read to us. Test your attention spans, y'all. Look at them. Test your attention spans. You can do it.
Chapter 13 is called Homosexuality, the Gatekeepers. The words gay and lesbian do not exist in the village, but there is the word gatekeeper. Gatekeepers are people who live a life at the edge between 2 worlds, the world of the village and the world of spirit. Though they do not marry in this world, they say they have partners in other dimensions. What they do, they don't like to communicate to anyone. It is their right to keep it to themselves. Everybody in the village respects that, because without gatekeepers, there is no access to other worlds. Most people in the West define themselves and others by sexual orientation. This way of looking at gatekeepers will kill the spirit of the gatekeeper. That's the exploitation I was talking about. Gatekeepers in the village are able to do their job simply because of strong spiritual connection, and also their ability to direct their sexual energy not to other people but to spirit. The gatekeepers stand on the threshold of the gender line. They are mediators between the 2 genders. And so Buffalo may have misspoke, because sex is F and M, female and male. Genders is more of the spectrum for anybody that's gonna watch this back and have some shit to say.
Right.
All right.
Thanks for the question.
They are mediators between the 2 genders. They make sure that there is peace and balance between women and men. If the 2 genders are in conflict and the whole village is caught in it, the gatekeepers are the ones to bring peace. Gatekeepers do not take sides. They simply act as the sword of truth and integrity. You got a divine purpose. You got a divine fucking purpose. And that's really all I wanted to say. And thank you.
You have one more thing to say, because you were going to talk about the masculine, the predatory energy in the spiritual community.
Woo! Oh, wow. I want to say it's not just the regular everyday folks that can and will abuse your gifts. I've observed it. I've experienced it. When I stepped into, and I want to preface this by saying, I don't feel like Ifa is negative or bad all the way across the board. Absolutely not. You got charlatans and in every, all the way across the board. Okay, but there aren't a lot of lesbian or queer folk that are like priests and you know, I guess like the hierarchy of everything. So it's kind of easy to kind of fall into that trap. You know, the title of the book, The Spirit of Intimacy by Sabafu Sameh. And I see how, you know, okay, say for instance, you see a guy, you like a guy, for the straight women, you see a guy and you get kind of giddy and antsy, you just want to be all up on it because it's kind of smell the cologne and kind of get drunk on it. It's a spiritual vampirism that's happening when it comes to us, because we're so fluid and all over the place. It's easy to just jump in and get what we need, get what they need to kind of like, I don't even know how to really articulate it, but it's just spiritual vampirism. Spiritual vampirism. And it's just, when you're not in control and let alone aware of how that energies and spirits are moving through you, they'll latch on and ride that wave too. You know what I'm saying? They kind of boost themselves up based off, but they kind of give you a little shine here and there. You think you got it, but if you really tap in and you sit back, something ain't quite right. You can't put your finger on it. You can't put your finger on it, but it's just something that's just a little off about the interactions and the encounters. You know, and then you start experiencing things in the astral and so on and so forth, and you start attracting all these different entities and different bodies, and I'm still, full transparency, I'm still recovering. I'm still in recovery. So it's so fresh that I can't even, I could talk about sexual abuse, but spiritual abuse, because it's so, how can you prove it? It's too fresh. So at full transparency, I gave what I could on that. I actually thought I could have given more before I got on here, but I cannot.
Thank you. Thank you for your transparency and honesty. And thank you for sharing. Love you.
Yeah, thank you for accepting.
Thank you.
All right.